In today's video, we are going to discuss the fate of Lieutenant Titus. Is he ultimately doomed to fall to the powers of chaos? Is he already fallen? Is someone actively in the chapter trying to kill Titus off? There's so much discussion, there's so many theories around this. Let's jump in, let's take a look at the character, and let's get waffling. A warning for people who haven't played Space Marine 2 or have watched the Amazon secret level 40k episode. This video is going to contain spoilers from both of those storylines, so if you haven't read it, if you haven't played it, if you haven't watched it, then please leave the video right now. This is your first and only warning. Now, when it comes to Lieutenant Demetrius Titus, there's no argument about it. He has become one of the main characters in the 40k IP. With the release of Space Marine 2 and the success of that game, a lot of people have been brought into the IP of 40k with Titus as the main beacon. And there's been a lot of questions, a lot of theories, a lot of discussion about Titus and his future, especially so with the release of the Amazon secret level 40k animation episode, where we got a little bit of a glimpse into the past of Titus. We got to see Titus's mentor and also hear from the mentor of his concerns about Titus and his character. Now, with the secret level animation, I think this is the best to jump into one of the main discussions and talk about Titus. One of those discussions is the actual fate of Titus, because as the episode ended, it left Titus's fate into interpretation. Did he die? Did he live? Now, the mission itself was given an absolute mortality rating, meaning whoever ordered this to go ahead, which is another big subject which we will cover later on in this video, knew that Titus would be going to his death on this mission. Now, we all know how the story turned out. Titus managed to slay the Sorcerer Zinch demon and bring it down, and it was left with him and the veteran Sergeant Matarius left alive, facing a new horde of incoming cultists as the strike cruiser of the Ultramarines rained down fire on the planet. And that was it. Fade to black. And that was the episode over with. Now, I'm just going to put this out there right now. They've definitely not killed Titus off. As I mentioned at the start of the video, Titus is a big character now in Warhammer 40,000. He's brought a lot of new people into the 40k IP who connect with that character. They're not going to erase him in one little secret level 40k animation episode. What's probably going to happen, he's got to battle his way through the cultist, he's got to send up a signal for aid, a Thunderhawk's got to come down, they're going to pick him up and the veteran sergeant and take him back to the strike cruiser, and then that'll set up either another story with secret level, which has been confirmed for season 2, or we'll slide in to Space Marine 3 and we go on another adventure with Titus and more characters are part of the Ultramarines. Now, one of the biggest discussions a part of all of this is Titus and his resistance to chaos. We see this in the 40k secret level animation episode where he's able to resist the Zinch sorcerer. In Space Marine 1, he's able to resist the warp powers in that, and also in Space Marine 2, he's able to resist the warp powers in that and overcome the powers of chaos. Now, this has left Titus with a little bit of a reputation. Sometimes his squad members turned on him because they didn't trust him, and that was him being handed over to the Inquisition, part of the Space Marine 1 storyline. And in Space Marine 2, of course, he was watched by a chaplain who knew what had happened to Titus in the previous storyline, because we eventually found out that it turned out to be Leandros, the squad member that handed him over to the Inquisition, and Leandros still didn't trust him. But one of the big revelations that we had in the 40k animation for the secret level is that his mentor, veteran Sergeant Matarius, also had concerns about Titus. Titus knew no fear. He was full of anger. And when the Sorcerer Zinch demon, whatever it was, went into his mind, we saw that corrupted version of Titus. Is this where everyone thinks Titus is going to end up, eventually falling to the powers of absolute corruption and damnation and turning what we had, a warrior against the forces of chaos, into an ally of the forces and chaos, and bringing more death and more destruction to the Imperium. And this leads into the big discussion for me, which is someone inside the Ultramarines actively seeking to end the life of Lieutenant Demetrius Titus. As I've already explained, this mission that Titus was sent on was given an absolute mortality rate. They expected no one to come back from this mission, and of course I expect Titus will come back from this mission with the veteran sergeant. So why is Titus being sent on a mission that is literally going to kill him? This character has just received the laurels of victory from none other than Calgar himself, but someone deemed it necessary to send him on a mission of certain death. Who in the Emperor's name would do that? Well, lucky for us, we actually do have that information in this clip right here.
There is a mission. It will take you away from the second company for a time.
As you command, Chapter Master.
The brother chaplain will brief you. It was he that suggested you for the task.
So just to put that scene into perspective, Titus had just received the laurels of victory from Calgar, and then soon after, Calgar apologized to Titus, saying sorry it took so long to find him while he was with the Inquisition being tortured and played with, because the Inquisition thought he was a tool of chaos. And then we get the information that the chaplain, the same chaplain, Leandros, who handed him over to the Inquisition, the same chaplain that has basically been watching him and not trusting him throughout the entirety of the Space Marine 2 storyline, has now assigned him to another mission. And this is when they board the Thunderhawk and they fly off. And what we were told is that the secret level animation basically takes place after the Space Marine 2 storyline. So let's connect the dots here. It was Chaplain Leandros who basically put Titus on this mission of death. It is literally sending him to his death, even after everything he's done, saving all the planets, all the tests he's been put through by the chaplain and the chapter. The chaplain still does not trust Titus and wants him to die. Now, let's flip this coin on its head, because there's always another way to look at this. Because if you look at Space Marines, they live to die. To become a Space Marine is to serve the Emperor in the most glorious way possible and die in his most glorious name. So no matter where the planet is, the battlefield, you literally live to die for the Imperium, for the Emperor. My only problem with that take is that it seems a little bit more personal, that Leandros is pushing Titus to a certain death rather than a glorious death upon a battlefield of his choosing, surrounded by, you know, the chapter banners, brothers, and everything like that. It just feels a little tad more personal. And you have to wonder why. Why is Leandros doing this? Maybe veteran Sergeant Matarius came to the chaplain and spoke about his concerns with Titus as his mentor of Titus. I'm sure the chaplain would have asked questions of Matarius. You know, what was he like as a youth? What did he do? How did he pass his training? Because Leandros was there and saw Titus resist all the Chaos Warp powers. So maybe he had questions of Matarius, and Matarius basically told him what he feared about Titus. And then Leandros just put a plan together to say, hey, right, maybe this chap is too dangerous to live and he has to die. And he gave him that glorious death on that planet. But it looks like Titus is going to survive and come back, and we're going to have even more stories with Titus. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's my personal theory. That's my personal take on this whole situation. So, in summary, yes, Titus is still alive. I personally think his character is tied to the fates of Chaos in some way. Do I feel like he's going to become fully corrupted? No, I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll die in his own sword before he does that. And I do think Leandros, or should I say Chaplain Leandros, is actively seeking to kill Titus off in the Ultramarine chapter. That is where I stand at this moment in time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this video. I would love to hear your comments, your theories, your concerns, everything around Titus, Leandros. Post it down in the comment section down below, and we'll have a nice little chin wag down there as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, and bye-bye.